Hello guys, I Shreeya Katyal welcome you all to Rubaru. You're watching MSTV and today with us we have a tremendously celebrated personality who has been an actor and director himself and now a principal lecturer at Teesside University of UK, Professor Ronan Paterson. So let's talk to him and know the creative world of media entertainment with him. Hello sir, welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be back here at the Marwah Studios. I have visited here before and always been very impressed with the quality of your students and the welcome we've received here.
That is amazing. We're glad to host you. So my first question to you is that when did you come to the field of media and entertainment, the filmmaking world?
Well, I had started in the theatre. When I was 16 years old, and I don't want to advise this to any of your students, I used to play truant from school and go and work in the theatre.
Okay.
I worked backstage. Then when I was 19, I began acting. I started in the theatre, but quite soon I started working in television.
Okay.
And then from television, I got some small parts in some small films. I was very ambitious and I didn't want to just be an actor. I moved into doing some directing and then I made the huge mistake of becoming a producer, and of course that is madness. Don't ever become a producer.
Why so, may I ask?
Because you lose your money. No, I had a film that couldn't possibly fail.
Okay.
Famous last word.
But then you lose on your creativity as well, I guess.
Well,
like
yeah, you can.
An actor and a director is more creative, I must say, and those creative instincts, they get buried somewhere.
Yes, well, that's true. I mean, the thing is that anybody who has inside them that germ of an idea that they might like to be a creative person, be it an actor, be it a director, if you don't actually at least try to do it,
True.
that becomes very thwarted. You must try it. If it doesn't work, do something else. You haven't hurt anybody. But you must actually try and do it if that thing is inside you.
Try, do it, and keep on redefining yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yes,
That is
indeed,
very important.
indeed. The film world is, at the moment, perhaps more exciting and more accessible than it's ever been. In the old days, it cost so much money just to start, but now you can make a film with your phone.
True.
And indeed, many people do around the world, and they are entered in film festivals. Now, the only thing that gets in the way is ideas.
Ideas, right. And ideas, they have the real value and they cost
Oh,
you.
yes. Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And talking of those movies and films made from phones, we are also having our cell phone cinema contests and festivals.
Indeed, I remember Mr. Sandeep Marwah telling me about that last time I was here. We discussed that. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting and creative and cost effective.
Yes, well, indeed. But nowadays, you see, I began in the film world using film, and I still love film. And this morning, when I was speaking to the students, I was lamenting the departure from film. You spend hours and hours in post-production trying to make things look almost as good as film. But no, I mean, nowadays, actually, the cost has varied because it used to be much more expensive to shoot on film.
True.
But now you can buy a film camera so cheaply because no one wants them. Hey, if you want to make a film with film, still do it. It's worth it.
So it's a good chance for everybody to express themselves. Anybody
Yeah.
can be a filmmaker.
Yeah, indeed, anybody can be a filmmaker in that they can make a film. Whether it's a good film or not everybody can do that.
True.
But success only comes as a result of trying again and again and again. Good luck comes from hard work.
Exactly. So persistence is the key.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it sometimes will be the case, maybe you make 100 films before you make a good one, but you wouldn't have made the good one if you hadn't made the 100 bad ones first.
Exactly.
Because everything you do, you learn from, and sometimes you learn more from failure than you do from success.
True, very well said. Okay, so now I would like to ask you that what is that driving force? What is that thing which, like inspires you to create something, inspires you to make the film? What is your USP?
I suppose that I look back at my own life and the things that have inspired me have often been films. Sometimes it's been plays, sometimes it might be a novel or a piece of music. But when I feel that inspiration, that connection with another artist, that connection between an artist and an audience. In the end, the only justification for what we do is that people want to see it.
Exactly.
If people don't want to see it, then it is not a success. You can win awards, but if nobody wants to see it, forget it. Art and film work through empathy. What we go to the cinema for is to feel things, to feel what someone else feels. And it's a hugely liberating thing. A room full of strangers feeling something at the same time, feeling emotions together. If you can really feel what someone else feels, you will never allow a concentration camp at the end of the street, because you will be able to feel and understand what other people feel. And art and film are the best ways of doing that.
So basically that sensitive instinct is very important, and sensitivity,
yes,
right?
Yes, but it's that connection, because what's wonderful in the world of the cinema, which is truly a global industry, and we work with people from all over the world, and when I come to this studio here, I meet people from many countries. We find those things we have in common. We find that common human spark, that human instinct. We realize that someone from Madagascar is the same as somebody from Mongolia. In the end, those things that make us human, that is what art does and what cinema does. It makes the invisible visible. It shows us the essence of things. It shows us how things affect people. It shows us the actions of people when they are affected by circumstance. And that is such a healthy thing. And then people have come together, they sit, they feel those things together, and they go out with their understanding of humanity enriched. Now, they may come just to laugh and to have a good time. That's fine. That's enriching too. It doesn't have to be profound. It just has to make people feel.
So feelings, they play a very vital role in the cinema filmmaking world.
Indeed, they do.
One dilemma I have in my mind now, and that is that since we're talking about expression, and you just told me right now that it is very important to connect with the audience, it is very important to show what they want to see.
Yes.
But if your expression, what an artist wants to express, is entirely different from what audience demands.
Audiences don't fill in a form before they come and say, I want to see a film about this. What you hope is that you have a story to tell that will connect with an audience. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you put your heart and soul into a story and people don't want to see it. Then you just have to put on your big boy pants and try again with the next one. And you learn from these things. But if you are actually sensitive to your audience, gradually you start to know the things that work for people. Now, I'm not saying that as artists we only reflect the public taste. Of course, we believe we have things to say, or we take other people's stories.
Our own expression.
Yes, or other people's stories. Sometimes we interpret other people's great, profound stories that have affected us. We might read a book and think, this story is fantastic. I would love to make a film of it. This has really powerfully affected me. I'd like to give it to a wider audience. But, you know, in the end, what we hope is that we will create something, we will express something, and that we will do it in a way that audiences can feel those things, that audiences can connect with it too.
So that recipe has to be designed.
Yeah. But this is what's great about film. It's a team game. A painting, one person makes the painting, and if it's rubbish, it's rubbish. But when you're working on a movie, you're working with hundreds of people sometimes. If you're making a big epic, you might be working with thousands of people. And in spite of the reputation cinema has, okay, there are some very autocratic, a lot of the process of filmmaking is actually quite democratic. You know, sometimes you might be acting your heart out and you look behind it and you see the camera assistant going, and you think, oh, maybe this isn't quite as good as I think it is in my head. No, it's quite a democratic process often. But there are lots of people's ideas, highly talented individuals, and you will get sometimes the costume designer saying, I'm sorry, that's not really not going to work. And if you're clever, you listen. You might tell them it has to, but generally you should listen.
Coming on to coordination,
Yeah.
I have a question in mind again. And since you have been an actor and a director as well, so how important is the coordination between these two? And how do they coordinate?
Well,
What are those vitals of this combination, this team, actors and directors?
well, these are the key elements, aren't they? Because the actor is the way that the audience connects to the story. People relate to character, they relate to the impact of stories on characters. So the actor, as the visible part of the storytelling, that is the key to the audience's interaction. The actor cannot see him or herself, and they need somebody to guide, to edit. And when I say edit, I don't just mean in the edit suite. I sometimes mean the director saying, actually, maybe you need to do that a bit quicker, or maybe you shouldn't be quite so loud, or whatever. They need somebody to feed back to make sure that it is actually expressing what they hope it will express. But when I was talking to your students today, I was talking about a lot of directors don't really know how to talk to actors. They don't really know what the question they should be asking is, or what the instruction they should give is. And you know, you sometimes get a director who's saying, oh no, not like that. And you say, certainly, how then? Not like that.
So a director has to be an actor as well?
Well, no. I mean, I think the director has to be able to say helpful things, useful things. Now, my belief is that what the director should do is put the actor in context, say, all right, this is the situation. Then I believe that the director should say, this is your objective. This is what your character wants to achieve in this moment. And then when the actor does it, the director has to be able to finesse that picture and to say, maybe you should pause before you do that. Or, but what the director asks for must be specific. And it usually should be about something you have to do. I believe that every direction should have a verb in it.
Okay.
Now, that's one thing. So tell the actor to do something. The word act means do. Right?
True.
Yeah.
So that adds clarity to the whole concept.
Yeah.
So director has to be very clear in his mind about his work, his concepts. And
Or her.
Or her, right? So his or her concepts,
Yeah.
and should deliver it very aptly to the
Yeah.
actors.
If the director explains, all right, this is what I want you to do, it's then the actor's job to do it. But the actor is there to bring certain qualities of him or herself as well. Now, one of the things I talked about today was, it depends. Sometimes you are cast just to be exactly like yourself, in which case, don't complicate it, just be that. Sometimes you are asked to do something very different from yourself. That's a bit more complicated. You might need a bit more help in doing that.
But then that is acting.
Yeah.
Because if you are just portraying what you are, then you are not acting properly, right?
Well, yeah,
when you are portraying someone else apart from your personality, then you are acting.
One of the things that you must avoid, you see, I don't believe the actor should ever become the person. What you're doing is you're trying to coincide with the character on the level of the things that you do.
Okay.
So you don't want to become the character. What if the character's a murderer? You know, do you have to go and kill, somebody? The continuity
So acting is not acting.
Okay? Yeah, that's right. That's right. But what you must do, and Stanislavski is the person who asked these questions better than anyone else, even if you disagree with the solution. But what you must do is you are trying to think, what would I do if I were in that character's situation? This is what I'm trying to achieve.
Empathy again.
Yeah, empathy
Again comes here.
Yeah, this is what I would do if I were in that situation.
True.
Yeah.
So that is indeed enlightening. Okay, so now at the end I would like to ask you that you had a workshop today with the students. So how did you find the experience over here?
I have to say, I really liked the students here. It was an interesting group because it was made up of actors, directors, cinematographers, all kinds. And so what we were talking about was, in a sense, the basic principles. But they asked really intelligent questions. They were very well aware of what the questions could be and should be. And I was very impressed with them. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they laughed at my jokes, which is really important.
Exactly, and it is very important in creative field to keep the mood light.
It is.
Because when there's too much of seriousness, creativity cannot flourish in fear.
Yeah. Well, yes, you find that, and usually the more serious the film is, the more people laugh. It's when you're doing a comedy that things are hard. There was a very famous English actor in the 18th century. His name was David Garrick, and at this time, tragedy and comedy were very separate things. And someone said to him, which is harder to do, comedy or tragedy? And he said, oh, any fool can do tragedy. Comedy's a serious thing. By which he was saying, it's actually very, very hard work.
Exactly.
Ed Gwynn, who was the wonderful old actor who played in the movie Miracle on 34th Street, vintage Hollywood movie, he was playing a Santa Claus character. And on the set, when they were filming, he was dying, just of old age. He was very, very old, and everybody knew he was dying, but nobody wanted to refer to it. And then one day on set, his little grandson was there, and he said, "Grandad is dying hard." And everyone kind of went, and he said, no, he said, no, dying is very easy. Comedy is hard.
Indeed. So comedy is hard, and making people laugh is a noble deed.
It is. Making people laugh is
Especially in today's era.
Yeah. Making people laugh is probably about as good as your life can get.
Exactly. So at the end, now I would like to have an inspirational message for the audiences and the students from your side. Not only about a good artist, but on an overall being a good human being.
Never give up. That's the hardest thing. In this industry or in your life, you get kicked in the teeth an awful lot of times. And maybe the hardest thing is to get back up again.
So rise like a phoenix again every time. I can see tears in your eyes. Did you recall something?
No, I mean, it's funny because I said this last time I was here when I was speaking, and I did actually cry when I said it.
Maybe that can inspire others.
The thing that inspires me the most is people who overcome resistance, who there's an old word in English, abide. And it is about, some of it's to do with self-belief, some of it's to do with faith in yourself, faith in ideas, faith in what you believe in. But to keep going is probably the hardest, but the most satisfying thing you can do.
True, that gives you an inner satisfaction and self-confidence that yes, I overcome it and I'm back again.
Yeah.
More stronger indeed.
Indeed.
Okay, thanks for coming to the studio. Thanks for inspiring us and sharing so much of knowledge with us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we just unraveled the beautiful world of filmmaking. I hope that it had inspired you and you had gained a lot of knowledge from it. I did. That's all for today in Rubaru. I, Shreeya Katyal, sign off for the day. But I'll be back with another very eminent celebrity guest for you. Till then, you keep watching MSTV. Har pal aapke saath.